Where does the opposition come from? You refer to kind of slithering backstage interest behind folks in the Senate and in Congress. What is the locus and location of these dark powers, and how does this new and emergent America attack it?
So I'll go to the previous how it worked, and I think Bobby and President Trump and their mandate can change this. But imagine FDA in a previous administration. If they even thought about touching or reviewing one chemical, these 10,000 chemicals in our food that aren't legal in any other country, if they started talking, they would be absolutely berated with letters from members of Congress saying this is crazy, this is an attack on innovation, this is an attack on the farmers in my district. So that's where the fact that there's five pharma lobbyists and three food lobbyists for every single member of Congress comes in. They pay them, they get the letters, and that bureaucrat who's reviewing those standards at the FDA just gets pounded. The president's getting a bunch of calls from members of Congress and senators saying this is crazy. And they play really, really aggressive because it's literally, if they did one small thing, it was just pound, pound, pound. So that, oh gosh, the bureaucrats, oh, I'm getting bombarded by Congress. We got to slow down. So that's one. That's one. Another way things get delayed is just bureaucratic, the blob. So you can say you do something, but then the lawyers who are interviewing for their next job at pharma inevitably and deep in the administrations. And I believe, frankly, and this is obviously clear, there's corrupt incentives and people being paid within the department itself. It's okay. The directive just gets kicked around, and then 9 months later, oh, well, we're still looking at that. So there's bureaucratic infighting. This is where I think the Doge and the Elon philosophy comes in. I mean, that, I'm an Elon fanboy. I'll admit it. I think Elon's the most important. I think Elon and Trump are the two people in the world right now. People are going to remember in history books in 50, 100 years. Nobody's going to remember us. They're the two seminal figures. And the whole Elon philosophy of radical change, of firing the 80% of the company, working better, of moving fast. I think in a weird way, actually thinking big might be better because we can have holistic conversations instead of getting the paper cuts on every single regulation. What I'm hoping can happen is that, when you talk to the food industry, for instance, you ask them behind closed doors, are you happy? Do you think it's a good thing that demonstrably you make products that are less healthy in America than the exact same product you formulate for Europe? Is that a good thing that demonstrably we all agree it's less healthy in America? They're like, no, that's not good. We ask them, is it good that we have so many chemicals in our food that we are not able to import a lot of our agriculture to Europe, which is the world's second largest market? Is that a good thing? Like literally, that's true, right? We can't even export most of our food. No, that's not good. So everyone kind of agrees that there's a problem. And I think potentially with Trump and RFK bringing light to this and bringing big thinking, I'm optimistic we can get stakeholders together and actually figure out how to unwind some of this. And I will say, this isn't on the food front. It's not just the food industry. I mean, they've held their hands with government to create a totally corrupt subsidy system where right now our fourth largest entitlement program goes Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and then SNAP. We spent $150 billion for, food subsistence for lower income Americans. 15% of Americans depend on this program. It's a government failure too that 18% of that money, it's 18% now go to sugary drinks. And that money is basically funding poison for lower income Americans to drive up healthcare costs and destroy the human capital of our population. Unwinding these structures isn't just punitive to the food industry. We need to figure out a different subsidy system. We need to actually take responsibility, I think, for the government of what we've done with this broken subsidy system nobody likes. So I think if you can really actually have stakeholders and the stakeholders like ag and like the food industry can actually see this as an opportunity to basically be dragged reluctantly to some change, but also behind closed doors, figure out a new system that actually works for stakeholders. I'm optimistic, Russell. I think I cannot emphasize enough how the independent media spotlight, I've always said this. I said this is why President Trump, who I was not on the train for President Trump in 2016, right? I think his election was the most important election in my lifetime by far. I think he's the most important figure of my lifetime because I've always said this. The executive spotlight on this issue, calling out the FDA or calling out these slithering people who try to sneak these regulations in. We just didn't have light on it before. So with the light President Trump and Bobby can show and these smart people that are being picked, we got to be strategic. But I think we can get them done. The last thing I'll say, Russell, as we're thinking about this, is you just made some, these are unimpeachable arguments. Should research be transparent? like without even talking about vaccine, should we have data available on what the trials are or know if there haven't been trials? Can we be able to generally support vaccines while also saying that it's a terrible incentive, as Aaron Siri points out, that there's complete immunity protection, and the second you get on the vaccine schedule, you have mandated government payments for this drug for every American and enforcement for the government for them to take them. I mean, you can have two things at once, and bringing these things in the open, they're unimpeachable arguments that I think are winning arguments.
New Year's Eve is on its way. We're all making resolutions and looking for new solutions. But what about our pets? And what about Rough Greens? Healthy, nutritious food for your pet. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black is on a mission to provide better nutrition for cats and dogs because, truthfully, it's not what you are feeding your pet, it's what you're not. What are you not feeding your pet? Which is why he created Rough Greens and Meow Greens in the first place. Bring their dead food back to life with live vitamins and minerals and probiotics, enzymes, omega oils, antioxidants, and so much more. All in their tasty formula your dog or cat will love. Improve your pet's coat, digestion and energy and have less vet bills. Let 2025 bring a new year and a new pet. Try it. Get a Jumpstart trial bag, normally $20, with free promo code Russell just to cover shipping. Resolve to provide what your pet's food has been missing with Rough Greens. To get your free Jumpstart trial bag, go to roughgreens.com. Use the promo code Russell. That's RUFFgreens.com, promo code Russell. So good your pet will ask for it for name. I love my pets. My little Coco, a Dachshund, my beautiful bear, a German Shepherd. Both German dogs. What does it mean? What does it all mean? I give them Rough Greens, and going into the new year, I'm going to be giving them Rough Greens and getting a great deal from Rough Greens. The greens may be rough, but the deal ain't. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.